Hello dear friends, thank you so much for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. You guys are simply the best and I love you so much. Thank you for attracting new subscribers to my channel. You guys are really a family. Thank you so much. And don't forget, this is Safronmedia, where we're in the business of giving you the latest, hottest, most reliable and authentic news. And right here now we have another news, though this news is really disappointing and it is heartbreaking that and it says Nigerians oil revenue dries up and may be so for the next 3 years. Oh my god, this is not the kind of news I love to hear, but this is the reality and we really have to face it as it is. Hey guys, but before we go details into the news, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? This is the time to do so because we have the best for you always, and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime we drop a new video. Don't forget to like, give us a thumbs up and share this video. Guys, come on, let's go details into the news to see why the Nigerian oil revenue has dried up and why it will be so for the next 3 years. Despite Brent crude futures rallying in recent weeks, Nigeria is facing a fast-looming future without reliance on fiscal revenue from its massive oil wealth. Amidst the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has brought to a halt economic activities and travel, demand for crude oil has crippled, resulting in a dramatic oversupply. Accordingly, a glut of Nigerian oil has been bringing the country about $10 less than the $30 a barrel registered on Tuesday. It's now dawned on everyone across the country how severe this threat is. There is a possibility that at least for 3 to 5 years, there's going to be no revenue flowing to the government from oil. Andrew Nevin, a partner and chief economist for Nigeria at PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP, said, once oil prices, which normally contribute about half of Nigeria's fiscal revenue, are at around $20 a barrel, Nigeria receives very little cash for its crude. Nevin of PwC was cited as saying at a webinar on 30th of April. Current global measures to fight the spread of COVID-19 with lockdown procedure, travel bans and shut industries have driven oil prices to new lows where they fail to cover the cost of pumping barrels for many Nigerian companies. Despite such low prices, on 5th April, traders were cited as acknowledging that around a quarter of Nigeria's oil cargoes for his month were still awaiting buyers, with at least 6 tankers used as storage space for about 4.5 million barrels of crude were idling off Gibraltar and nearby Quetta. According to tanker tracking data cited, the tankers floating in the area since the end of March were about to be joined by another one. Despite such low prices on 5th April traders, 5 April traders were cited as acknowledging that around a quarter of Nigeria's oil cargoes for his month still were awaiting buyers. On Tuesday, Nigeria's finance minister spoke in a webinar to deplore the twin challenge of dealing with coronavirus epidemic itself and economic impacts from it facing the country. It's a double whammy. This has set us back significantly, said Zainab Ahmed. Clement Agba, Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, echoed the dismal forecast, saying it is no longer a secret that government revenues have collapsed. Nigeria was already struggling before the pandemic as a U.S. shale oil boom has slashed the country's crude oil export to America. About 40 to 50% of the oil was typically sent to the U.S. Amidst the dire forecast, Nigeria has sought a $3.4 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) to shore up the country's 2020 spending plan. It also requests a further $3.5 billion from the World Bank and other financial institutions. In late April, the IMF revealed its earlier forecast of an anticipated 2% growth of Nigeria's economy, predicting it would shrink by 3.4% in 2020. According to IMF, crude revenues were predicted to decline by $26.5 billion this year, down from $54.5 billion in 2019. Wow, this is really bad. The margin is just too wide between 2.6 billion and 54.5 billion in 2019. Oh God, I think he should calm down and have mercy and see the Nigerian people and help them also. So this is a period of crisis. Job losses are imminent across the petroleum industry. The impact of this will start reflecting from June and July, which is true because the pandemic has really hit hard between February and May. And now I'm very sure in June and July there will be a lot of challenges as to those in the petroleum industry. But the reality is that some members will certainly be impacted by this. What matters most to us is how to manage the process of any of such expected exit. Shell Nigerian's Fortune Obi, a spokesman of the country's oil union for senior workers, was quoted as confirming the economic downfall could spark social unrest in a country that has witnessed spells of militant violence for years, with oil facilities often targeted by protesters lashing out against allegedly unfair practices by the government and large oil companies. Regarding possible future government measures, experts predict there will be pressure to keep oil wells pumping with focus on maximizing revenue by slashing output from high-cost producers. Deep offshore operators would potentially be the hardest hit from such moves, said Cis Ujie-Leonhard, Chief Financial Officer of First Exploration and Petroleum plc. He added optimistically that prices might tentatively reach around $50 a barrel by the end of 2020. So that's it, guys. This is really a bad hit for Nigeria because the oil industry where Nigerian has all its hope on has actually crashed to the barest minimum. And we hope and pray that God will see Nigerians through because this is really going to be hard for a lot of people because that is the main source of Nigerians' economy. And this time around, it's not a human factor, it is a natural factor. So guys, please, if you have any comment, if you have reservation, if there's anything you want to talk to us about, if there's anything you want to know, please don't forget to drop it in the comment section. And if you're new to this channel, please join the family and hit the subscribe button. If you're seeing this for the first time, please join us and also subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and share this video. You guys are simply the best. Don't forget to stay safe and bye bye.